Wonderful. So, hi everyone. Welcome to this wonderful presentation and event by Xmind. So, our today's topic is project kickoffs. So, it doesn't matter if you're a developer or a tester or a designer or whatever field you are in. Maybe you're a non-IT person. How do you kickstart new projects, new initiatives for your work? This webinar is going to talk about that. So we will see how you can leverage this powerful mind mapping tool called Xmind to do seamless project kickoff and embrace chaos and complexity well. So before I start, I just want to give a quick introduction who I am and what is my experience with Xmind. So I'm Rahul Parwal. I am from India. I am a professional software tester and also a Xmind ambassador. So I'm a tester specialist, which means I have done quite some work with writing books on software testing and productivity, and ultimate productivity toolkit is one of the book that I'd written. And I am also a conference speaker and tech blogger. So you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn for more discussions on testing, tech, and mind map. Apart from that, I work with an German industrial automation company called as IFM Engineering, which is based out in Pune, Maharashtra. And I have been associated with Xmind for quite some years now. So my experience starts with me getting to know Xmind through a webinar session hosted by Ajay Balamurugada. So that happened in 2020. And from there to now, Xmind has been my favorite tool for mind mapping. I then got featured in the X Talk in 2022, where I talked about my journey as a software engineer and how I use mind map to do awesome things. And then in 2023, last year, I also became an official Xmind ambassador for my work with mind mapping and Xmind. So that's a very short overview about me. Now I have a question for people who are attending this, that what is a project and are you working on managing a project? Just type yes or no. And if you want to add in what is a project, you can write. So I'll wait for next 1 minute. So I see yes. Okay, so which means I'm getting a couple of yes. So I believe like a lot of you have been working on project or project management, but a interesting part that I learned when I started attending these project management trainings is that project is something that has a goal or outcome. So essentially, anything that has an end goal and that has an outcome to achieve is a project. And there will be a lot of set of activities that a project will consist of, and it is actually a lot of conscious work among a lot of people to achieve that goal and get that outcome. Every project actually has three key aspects. So first is, the project is the temporary thing. It will have a definite beginning and a definite end. It is never not going to be ever running. The second interesting part is every project will be unique. So there will be something that has not been done before. So when you do something absolutely unique, that becomes a project. And by uniqueness, the concept of novelty gets associated with project. So whenever you are starting a new project, you are actually starting something that has never been done before, and that leads to a lot of ambiguity, lot of open points, lot of open questions. And the output of that project could be a product, it could be a service, it could be a result. So based on what all kind of projects you people are working on, there will be different aspects to what you are doing. Now Like considering these three aspects, I mean, you have to produce an output, you have to maintain the timelines, and you have to deliver something which is unique, which has not done before. It will lead to a lot of confusion. I mean, and the confusion is fine. So I want to talk about this bootstrap heuristic, which says that for anything that is new, anything that is worth doing, and that has a certain level of complexity, it will always begin with some confusion, which is good. And by the end of that process, you will end in precision. So, any kind of a good formal work actually begins with a lot of good informal work. That has to begin with a lot of good informal work. With mind mapping, I want to demonstrate a way how you can make this process faster, how you can embrace the confusion period, and how you can use mind mapping and powerful features to actually begin in confusion and then quickly break down the confusion into parts and conquer it and begin your journey towards ending in precision. So I have a quick question. It's kind of a poll that for any new project, when you were starting, what were the key activities that you were thinking of? I mean, what you had to do. So whenever you enter into a new project, what do you think about, uh, and what you have to do? So maybe it could be you think about timelines, goals, outcomes, people. So whatever you think, just type that out in the chat. So one thing is how to get started. I mean, where to begin or what documents to read is one thing. Shoaib says resource, goal, mission, vision. I mean, what is the mission? What is the goal? Yes, talking about that, of course, that's very useful. What else? Somebody mentioned how to get started, and then what problem are we trying to solve? That's an important question that we want to find the answer to. Risks and their mitigation plans. So these are certainly some of the activities. I tried to list down some of the activities, not exhaustive, but from my mind in this. So first is, I mean, understanding work activities, which is what, like, a lot of people said, that what is the problem, what are we trying to do. Competency check. So, I mean, are the people competent enough? Do we have the required competency to solve this issue? Identifying people and their skills. So, I mean, when somebody people say identifying resources, this is what they mean. I mean, identifying the right people and the right with the right skills. Requirements. I mean, how to get started? What are the requirements? What is the problem? Asset management. What all devices, things, assets we would be requiring. Team building. Who all will be in our team and what all responsibilities will they share. Planning and prioritizing things. Okay, we want to do something, but what do we want to prioritize first? What do we want to prioritize second? Estimation. How much time we want to take for this first activity, second, third. Time management, and then certain kickoff rituals like meetings and so on, introducing team and making a report. So these are high level activities for initiating a project. Now, what I now want to show you is my approach to kicking off new projects. So I am a test engineer, and when I go to new projects, this is what I go with. I go with a brain dump of all these possible activities and all the supported possible options through a mind map. So I'll click on this link, which is a fantastic feature, and we will go to a different page. So I'm just clicked on it, and now you see we are here. So once we are here, you can see this first day in a new project, which talks about me getting to know these many aspects and these aspects. Now, what are these aspects? So the aspects are, what is the current status of this project on which I am joining for the first day, or is the project starting? What is the current status of the product? and what is the team understanding of the project as of now. Now, what are the objectives? Like somebody mentioned, like they want to know objectives. But then I break it down into two parts: of the project, of the effort. So, what are the different objectives? Then meetings. So, will we be doing impromptu meetings, scheduled meetings with different stakeholders? What are the protocols? I mean, are we using Scrum and there are some meetings that are going to be defined, or I have to define my own periodicity? So, understanding that, what kind of reports do we want? What is the expected format? And can we change the format? Maybe the last time format was not good. What is the frequency? Similarly, documentations. I mean, what documents are required for compliance or related to testing, and like different terminologies, acronym, formal, informal that we are using, timeline, the nearest timeline, the first release, and the long-term timelines, long-term plans. And what about team? I mean, who are the team members from this, and what are their skills and strength, and who are the development team members, and is anybody on leave, or so on. Then the requirements, which means the documents, looking for the informal requirements, other form of communication. That how, I mean, because communication will also act as a way for me to do this analysis of requirement. Now, environment, the credential of the environment, backup protocol, test data repository, test tools. What are the expectations from me that people have from this team, from this project, from the past? I mean, what was done in the past? What kind of reports have been there in the past? Similar projects. Stakeholders. Who is the most important stakeholder? And who should I be concerned more about? Who should I reach out, or whose concerns matter the most? And who can answer my questions? So, I mean, getting to understand all of this. Then common mistakes, what people have done, what to avoid, and what do you think I can make. Talking about this project nature, what kind of agile, waterfall, or like different platforms, what are we using for code collaboration, communication, and so on. Now, by the time I fill this entire map on the first day of my new project, either it's kickstarting or I am joining, the time I fill this, I have a very good and deeper understanding of what we are trying to do, what we have, what is expected, what is the common mistake, resources, and so on. Now, if I approach a project without any such brain dump, without any such mental model, it becomes really hard for me to find out that what I have missed and what I have not. And as a professional, when we are all working in our projects, we don't want to miss details because we have not thought of them. So it's important to brain dump your ideas, make a hierarchy, and then fill out all these details. And the moment you fill these details out, you also have a documentation ready for your testing, that what is expected out of you. You could then share it with your team members for your knowledge transfer and so on. Or you could even onboard new members through this whenever new members join in your team. So creating such a repo helps in breaking down that confusion and removing out ambiguity. Now, going back to our main slide, I want to talk about visual intelligence. That, like, what is the need to actually put this down into a visual format, these pointers down into a visual format? Why not just put it on an Excel or a Word file, or a notebook, like a pen and paper? Why not do that? I mean, what is the point? Why do we want to create this model or a mind map? And the reason is we want to leverage visual intelligence. So now, what is visual intelligence? So visual intelligence is a form of thinking. It's a form of connecting the things that gets enabled the moment you see visuals. Like, as they said, a picture says 1,000 words. So with visual intelligence, that is possible. I mean, and visual intelligence gives you creative energy. So let me go up and show you. So this is what I want to talk about, which talks about creative energy. And yeah, so if you see the mind creative energy with visual intelligence and without visual intelligence. So if you like only look into text and so on, your visual intelligence is actually low. And the moment you put in, I mean, you start using this visual intelligence and you pour in ideas on a map and you make interconnections among the various topics, that's how the creativity triggers. I mean, that's where, like, from those ideas you will get creative aspects about your project and what else you can do. So putting down things on a whiteboard or on a visual medium, and I personally prefer mind map a lot, helps you elaborate things in a better manner. Second thing is that it makes the collaboration very quick. So the moment you put down things on a mind map, people can easily process those documents, and they directly get the gist out of what you are trying to convey, what you are trying to understand, and even the projection. So even with a small mind map, you can project a lot better about what you are thinking and what you want to know, what you care about, compared to when you are using traditional tools like document, Excel file, or some kind of a pointers and so on. So the projection power of mind map, although it's like a small document, but would be very much higher compared to a text document. So and that's also one of the reason why I decided to choose this over other things. So that's about the leveraging of visual intelligence. Now I'll talk about different examples, how I have been using and how you can use examples. But before that, is there any questions? If yes, please put them in the chat. Otherwise, just write no questions. Greg McGillis, is it possible to get your mind maps? Yes, you can message me on LinkedIn or check out my site, testingtidbits.com. I post my mind maps there a lot. So, yes, it's possible. Yeah. And Crystal has shared my credentials. So moving on. So there are different examples. So one of the example I had talked about, which was for approach to kicking off new projects. But there are multiple other topics like context free questions in testing. So whenever I start working on a new project, there are a lot of things that as a tester I need to know, and knowing them at the start is very hard. So there are some questions that I ask to help my stakeholders help me know better. Now these questions were created by Michael Bolton, but what I did was I arranged these questions in form of a mind map, and I'll show you that right now. So you could use it for anything. So now these are context free questions by Michael Bolton, which starts with PCM. P stands for permission. So the first thing that I start to ask my stakeholders is it okay to ask question? The moment they say yes, I ask them, like, who is the client? Who all are the client? Who is the customer who is paying for it? Are there other stakeholders? Like, what are their mission? And what is the risks in that mission? And do you want me to do a quick work, a practical work, or a deep work? The product which I'm testing, is it the same that the copy that I will get and the customer will get, is it the same? And what is it dependent on? What is the structure? How is it made? How often do you want reports from me? What all kind of deliverables do you expect? How much time I have? When is the next release? When does the test cycle need to end? What all deliverables I need to give? What is the data that is processed? What are the data structures used? Oracle, I mean, how do I recognize a problem? What do I think about it, but what do other people think about it? Then tester, experts, developer, I mean, who is working on these things? What are their skills? uh, the experts, who are they? What are the best folks whom I can talk with? Local people who we need to acknowledge. The developers, are they helpful? First, like, can they help me for first time setups and so on? What are their feelings, the feelings of the customer? Tech support, the information do I have? And where else can I get more information, and what else can I get? And what should I avoid doing? I mean, what should I not waste my time on? Or what are the equipment and tools that are available with the organization, and what are expected of me to be created? So now these base level questions help me break down the complex ambiguity associated with any project and put a mental and create a mental model of whatever project I am a part of. So now these are like essentially context free or context revealing questions that helps you do justice to your work. I mean, so it helps you act professional. It helps you uh, know what you are doing, and like the moment you start getting answers, what you can do is you can start adding uh, things. So, for example, like the customer is Xmind, I'll just add this, and the moment I start adding nodes and end nodes to all these elements, I have my full visual model ready for the things that are required. I see a question in the chat. Are these questions you would ask customer, or is this something you will try to fill out after a couple of engagements? Wonderful question, Navila. Some questions I would be asking them in my initial meetings. I would not be asking all of the question once. Some of the questions I will also try to fill in based on the information and things that they are talking about already. So whatever I can fill from my side, I'll fill it. But the things that I see are left and nobody has touched them, I'll go ahead and explicitly ask them. So it's about self management. I mean, how do you want to manage this? So it's certainly never a good idea to ask all the questions, because practically some of the things you will get to know the moment you enter into a project. So it's fine to fill that out, but maybe after you fill this, create this, getting a review from a product owner, and if they feel something important you have missed, they will add you here, and that helps you build a professional reputation for yourself. I hope I answered your question. So that is about context free questions. Now similarly, to define project timeline. So a lot of time when people are working on projects, the moment they start working on a new project, they are asked timelines. And for timelines, I mean, what you will give and how much time you will take, there are templates available with Xmind. So you could use such templates, for example, where if you see this, yeah. So if you see this, this is a project development timeline. And this is a template that is available in Xmind. I'll show you how you get all of these templates. So I got a question in the chat that can you get my templates? Of course, you can get my template, but Xmind also offers by default a lot of templates, and I'll talk about that. So this is one such Xmind template that comes for free with Xmind. And here, for any project development, you could add your own topics. So essentially, I mean, it's just a matter of clicking enter and tab and completing that. And then here you can define the various points, and you can club that out. You can you can annotate the summaries, and this is how you can show that how do you want to develop any project and what are your tasks. Now this gives a high level visibility to you. It gives a high level visibility to your customers. It also gives a high level visibility to your team members, that what is expected out of them, what will be the flow of project. And the moment you create it in a visual format, one after the other, it gets really easy to understand and break down your complex project into simpler doable actions and tasks and stages. So that's part one. Now I'll talk about another my favorite example, which is for task planning. So now Xmind offers an out of box feature. I'll click this exit button so that I can show you. So Xmind offers this feature where you can insert a task icon here. So I mean, the moment you click on this will get completed. So you could create checklists practically with live status tracking. So if you see, I've added tasks for all the end nodes of this mind map, and the moment I click on any of this element, the status of the parent is automatically getting updated or changed. Now, if I want to mark all of these tasks as done, I can also click directly here and it updates that. Or if I want to uncheck all, I just have to uncheck it from here. So Xmind offers this beautiful possibility of tracking out tasks and showing live status. So the moment next time you go into a review meeting or a status meeting, you can directly show that how much percentage of what task is done, what is pending, and maybe you can highlight if something is red, you can highlight, or you could mark a flag that this is red and what is the reason for it, and you could add a reason or remark that how this has to be done. I get another question in the chat that do you transfer the task to a project planning program such as a Microsoft project? I usually don't, but people can do that. So what I do is I use Xmind for this management. So I am not using any other tool. Uh, my company is using Miro equivalent, Lucid Spark Miro equivalent. Is Xmind more for personal purposes or is it to share with the rest of the team? It works amazing for personal, but Xmind has also brought in collaboration features. So I recommend you to check out Xmind Works, uh, and with that you could do collaboration. So that makes it more powerful. And in terms of mind mapping and the mind mapping capabilities, Xmind is one of the best that I've tried out till now. So that's how, I mean, you could do task planning or status mapping. The next thing is milestone planning. So for if anybody wants to do milestone planning, this is how they can even do the milestone planning, which is by creating such a milestone and mentioning like what is expected in Q1, what is expected in Q2, Q3, Q4, what are the different stages, what will do, and in a visual way you help team understand that how the things will move ahead and so on. Now, the next part is for problem solving, another common topic. So, the moment you start a project, you are essentially trying to solve a problem, and there will be a lot of problems that will come with a lot of ambiguity. So, the moment a problem comes in any project, it creates confusion, it creates ambiguity, and Xmind also offers template for that, where you could just define your problem title, you could discuss about causes, solutions, implementation plan, and result with like success metrics and failure indicators. Now you can fill this out, and for any problem that you have in your project, you have such a PDF ready with your RCA done. So I mean, such templates, using such templates helps you. And I was telling that all of this is available with Xmind. So how you can get it? You can go inside Xmind, click on File, and select New from Library. The moment you select New from Library, what you get is a lot of templates, and all of these templates could be used. There are more maps, and then from New, you could also choose a template where, for example, project management. So like these are all the templates that are there for project management, and for creating org structures, BCG diagrams, performance metrics, asset management, company marketing work, software development. So for your use case, whatever works, I mean, there are ready to use templates available out there in Xmind for you. So now that these were some of the examples. Crystal has shared this Xmind AI, which is again a wonderful tool that generates mind map through AI based on what you need, and it enables both team collaboration as well as AI integration, which is a super cool feature. The next segment for me is any Q&A. I mean, any question that you have for me till now. Have you tried any other tools? Yes, I've tried multiple tools, FreeMind, Miro, and then the Microsoft Office offers a built-in tool which enables mind mapping. So I've tried multiple tools for mind mapping, but I mean, the user experience, the usability that you will get with Xmind, I mean, that's really powerful, because when you want to do mind mapping, you don't want to actually think about the tool. You want it to be seamless so that you can directly think and jot down those ideas. So tool, I mean, with tools like Xmind, they work really seamless. So the developer experience that you get would be very nice. And I guess people who have tried multiple tools will be able to echo with what I'm trying to say. Any other questions? How is Xmind different from Figma? So I believe Figma is more of a design tool, Xmind is more of a mind mapping tool. So Figma and Xmind totally serve, I guess, two different aspects. Mahati says we also use Figma and Miro. I have not personally used Figma, but is a desktop version available for it? Figma also has the capability for mind mapping, uh, maybe, but I've not tried that out. So, and does a desktop version up is there for Figma? I mean, is there a desktop version for Figma? Because for such tools which I am using like day in and day out, I want desktop versions. I mean, not the browser versions. So that's one key consideration. So cool. I mean, it is difficult to take notes on Xmind if you need to go into detail. Can you link notes to a topic? Yes, yes, of course. I mean, what I had been doing, right? So I had created different tabs, and then I had linked all of that from one sheet to another. So that linking was possible. Uh, is it difficult to take notes on Xmind? If you want to, for example, say elaborate your note about a specific point, you don't want to add a subchild, you can directly go to insert and add note, and now it opens up a processor like where it's as good as a word processor, and this is a sample note. I can add bullet points, and then you could also add a bullet point, A, B, C. You could italicize text. So this is italics, and you can select it and press Control I or use the I button. This is underline, and you could select Control U and so on. You could even add links, uh, https://testingtidbits.com, and that will also get added. So I mean, you could add links, underline. So it's you can add like powerful notes, and then it will appear like this, and you can click it and edit and so on. So that's a powerful, and you could even like use it to link. So you could essentially insert link, and then you can link a web page or a topic or a local file or even a local folder. So I mean, powerful linking capabilities exist with Xmind. uh, Crystal mentioned Xpired provides more professional mind mapping functions. Of course, yes. So, I mean, trying this tool out is important. Can you search in mind maps? Yes. So, if you press Control F, you have an option to search in the current map, which is this, or the current file, which consists of all these bottom 10. So, I mean, for anything, I could directly search. For example, if I want to search testing, I could even search here or here, and I mean, easily toggle between different tabs. So, it's the search functionality is really powerful, but it also gives you find and replace. Suppose tomorrow word changes, or you want to match case, or you want to search for whole words, not just parts. You could play around with all of that. I mean, and you can also search your notes. So from your notes you could search text, or from your markers, I mean, you can see. So all of this powerful capabilities exist. So I mean, searching is there, but I mean, even advanced searching is there. So that's really cool with when it comes to Xmind. So going ahead, I mean, if there are no other questions, can we go ahead? Okay. So the call to action is for people, I mean, who have not tried out Xmind. I would highly encourage you to download Xmind and try that out. So maybe, I mean, you could create a mind map about this webinar learnings, what you learned from this webinar, post it on social media, and you can tag me. I can give you feedback about your mind map. I can give you tips about how do you improve on your mind map. And the bonus part is check out this Xmind AI, because that's super useful. So and super powerful. So Crystal has already shared you the link to Xmind AI. Try that out and check out its feature. And that's all. Thank you. And if you see, I mean, how I mean, using this mind map, I could give a structure to what I'm going to talk about. I had different parts, and then I could minimize all of that and so on. And it is not limited to that. I mean, even if I want to give it in a PowerPoint format, I could have used Xmind to do that. So Xmind can also enable us to create such presentations and even play around with default formats. So any of your mind map can automatically get converted into such a presentation that you can give at any place, anytime, and that is super powerful. So Xmind offers all these amazing capabilities. You can play with aspect ratio, you can play with different themes, and so on. So I mean, Xmind enables you to quickly modify that data and crunch and go ahead. Thank you for the feedback, Greg. Thanks, GS, for the feedback. So if there are no other questions, I would be stopping my presentation.